and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. Thanks for watching. My name's Rich Tehrani. On our program today is Michael Zirngibl. He's a co-founder and chairman of Ringio. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Rich, thanks for having us.
So I thought we'd start out by getting an overview of Ringio and what your company does.
That's great. Ringio is a cloud-based solution that helps small and medium-sized businesses treat their customers better over the phone when they call in, and actually let their employees have more meaningful, more informed conversations when they've got the customers on the phone.
So by cloud-based, the customer doesn't need to install or buy any extensive hardware up front to get the phone system to work. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So everything the customer needs to get set up is available through our website. Our customers sign up at ringio.com, go through about a 5-minute setup process that takes them from start to finish, and then they're ready to go, ready to take the calls and provide better customer service.
Do they need any particular kind of telephone to make this happen?
No, that's actually very unique about Ringio. It works with any phone. Some of our customers actually just use us on top of a bunch of cell phones that they have with their employees. But it also works with any PBX that is already in place. That's really great.
Now, when you introduced your company, you talked about just the things that you can do with the service that are great. And I'm curious if you could go into a little more specifics in terms of, I'm a small business, what will be a good typical small business example?
Right, it could be like an online retailer or a real estate agent. Well, we coined the concept of rich calling. And what rich calling is all about is using the data that you have about your customers to provide better service. So let me give you an example. So if you're a small online retailer and one of your customers, John, calls you. So the first time he calls, you don't know much about him. He selects sales in the auto attendant. Then he speaks to Jennifer, and they have a great conversation. John explains his problem. Jennifer tries to give the answers. Then they said, yeah, we'll get back to it. A couple days later, John says, I have one more question. So now what usually would happen, he kind of dreads calling back because he's like, wow, I probably end up with another sales agent and have to explain everything again. Not with Ringio. With Ringio, actually, the second he calls in, the system would say, hey, John, welcome back. I see the last time you called, you spoke with Jennifer in sales. She is available, so we're tracking the presence of the agent in that case. Would you like to talk to her again? And if he wants to talk to her again, boom, the call is transferred. Now, what's happening on Jennifer's side is actually, as soon as the call is transferred, she gets a screen pop that tells her everything about the customer, the notes she took in the initial call, and so she can immediately pick off the conversation where they left off. And if Jennifer wouldn't be available, actually her colleague, Peter, would see the notes as well and could say, hey, John, I see, last time you called, you spoke with Jennifer, you seem to be looking for XYZ, let me help you with that. So completely changing the dynamics of the conversation you have with your customers. That's the goal for rich calling.
Now, as a consumer myself, I think that's a great service because so often I have a complex problem and for some reason I'll get disconnected or I have to go and call back again, and that would make my life a lot easier than having to explain, because it seems the notes that the agents take are never complete enough, it seems, for complex problems. And it's always nice to have somebody who remembers you.
Right. Absolutely.
Or at least was involved in the process.
The best thing that can happen to you when you call a small business or any business again is to speak to somebody that you have already a connection of sorts, that knows you, and that's what Ringio does. It tries, if that person is available, it would be, it's the smartest thing to do to route to the person that you've spoken with before.
Now, most callers will call in once in a while, and so this is probably a great solution. I'm just curious about those chronic callers that, let's say, call once a month. How many choices do they get when they call in?
Well, it would track every single interaction with the caller. So whoever is picking up at the customer side would actually see all the commentaries that were left by people that spoke with the customer.
They'll get a choice for the last phone call potentially? That's how it works?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And if we also put the power back to the caller. If the caller says, hey, my last interaction that I had with Jennifer wasn't that great, and I'd rather speak with somebody else, you could say, no, I want to talk to somebody else.
Awesome.
So you put the power back to the caller.
That's great. So what are customers saying about this?
Well, we've gotten tremendous feedback. We launched our public beta about 3 months ago. So far we've signed up about 350 business customers, using the system, giving us feedback on things that they really like. And what we hear is the first time that screen pops and you see what happened with the caller, and the first time you can greet that caller immediately saying, hey John, thanks for calling back. I see this is where we left it off. That's kind of the aha, the wow moment that customers are looking for.
And so that basically keeps the customers happier, keeps them potentially spending more money, keeps them from defecting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's ideally suited for either a sales context, right? That's if you're a customer that has a lot of new prospects calling in, you need to do everything you can that you don't drop the ball on a new customer who's willing to give you money. So and sometimes you don't do a sale on a single phone call. So keeping that conversation, enriching that conversation along the way until the customer says yes, really has an impact on the bottom line. And on the customer side, on the support side, nothing is more annoying than explaining a problem that you had for a while over and over again. So picking up the conversation there, that's really unique.
Oh, you don't need to tell me. I agree with you 100%. I'm just curious as to why more companies are not deploying technology like this now. I think many of them need it.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons is that traditionally, these type of technologies combining telephony with CRM data has been incredibly expensive and complex to deploy. So really only the largest companies in the country were able to afford. So this is what we're trying to change with Ringio. We are making it so affordable and so easy to use that even small businesses can now use it.
Well, cloud-based solutions, sometimes the large companies shy away from cloud-based because they are concerned that sometimes the scale is not there in terms of the cost. Is there an economic incentive for very large companies to jump onto a cloud-based solution like yours?
Absolutely. It really depends on the type of the solution. Well, but having said that, Ringio is clearly targeted towards the lower end of the market for up to 100 employees. Having said that, also departments within larger enterprises of 100 person or less that don't classify themselves as direct call centers would be a good candidate for Ringio as well.
Okay, fantastic. What's next for the company?
Well, as I said, we have a big release coming out at the end of this month, getting out of the public beta with tons of new functionality that expand on our vision of making it better for the callers when they call in, also making it much easier integrating Ringio with existing PBXs. But the real killer gonna be our fall release when we're opening up our APIs to integrate with some of the leading CRM vendors and other SaaS plays that then could be plugged into the Ringio solution, and you could pull information in real time from these systems and present them in the context of each phone call. So we're very excited about that.
Potentially a Salesforce.com-like solution, you could take data out of.
Absolutely.
And present.
Right, and and right now we have a kind of a CRM Lite version working where you could simply use your Gmail or your Google contacts to serve as your underlying CRM system if you want in combination with Ringio. But in the fall release, we will have connectors for things like Salesforce.com, NetSuite right now, and other SaaS solutions. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, and you should be. And I appreciate you being on the program today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.